Hey, Eastern Oregon. Glad you're here today on this Thursday morning, March 25th. It's rainy. How are you, man?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, look at this.
Oh, here we go again.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of ugly looking.
Back to it.
It's trying.
Probably can't even see the mountain right now, huh?
No, I was looking a minute ago. We'll come back in a minute. I was looking and it's like it's all everything's all clouded in and looks like there's fresh snow on top of Mount Emily.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Oh, yay. Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't snow on Sunday. I have to go back. I have to go over the mountain.
Really? Where are you going this weekend?
Take my kids home.
Oh, that's right. Have you had a good time?
Back to their mom. Oh, man, we're having a blast.
Yeah. In fact, look at this. The camera just changed.
Oh, yeah. You can't even see it. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. No, this is the season where it's like crazy. It changes every day.
Yeah. It's no good.
So, hey, if you're watching out there, let us know where you are today. Let us know where you're watching from, your chair, if you're working out. And for those
I know old Bowen, he's in his recliner. Mike Bowen is in his recliner watching.
For those of you that don't know, if you go to our website, there is an audio link to it. It's not very well labeled, but there is an audio link where you right below the main window where you're seeing our live stuff, and you can click on that, and that will give you you can listen to it live, just the audio portion of it. Yeah.
BC, you know, there was a drive-by in LeGrand.
I know. I saw that.
What the heck? Hey, I love the comments too. Like there's one that we don't even know exactly what happened, right?
Right.
They say there were shots fired at like 1 o'clock. There was calls, and then somebody woke up the next morning and there was holes in their door.
Right.
Right. But here's the thing. It happened, I think, in Sundowner, right? Out in the trailer park.
Okay.
Like if your house gets shot, how do you not know until the next day?
Well, yeah, I guess that, yeah, not to poke at those who did the drive-by, but yeah, you didn't, if you were trying to get someone's attention, you didn't really fulfill your purpose.
Didn't even wake anybody up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it must have woke up the neighbors. Somebody called, and then I see all these comments like, oh, it's such a bad, some guy said, oh, I just moved here. There's drive-bys. And somebody said, well, maybe you should move back because this place is turning into
I saw that one too. It's like, really? Yeah.
It's like one little thing and people are losing their beans over it, you know?
Well, and they said that it was, at least the initial report said that it wasn't a random act, that for whatever reason, these people were targeted in one way or another.
Well, yeah, but if they were, whoever was doing the drive-by wasn't very good at it.
Well, I know. Thank the Lord. But it's like, yeah, but I don't, I guess that kind of stuff just angers me too, you know. But,
let's get some weather up here.
All right. Here, let's get back to my. All right. So.
What do we got? Oh, imagine that. Rain. Wintry mix. Is it gonna snow a little bit? It is.
So yeah, well, I think that's now.
Oh, okay.
We're in the midst of the wintry mix, 9 a.m. today.
It's gonna get up to 44.
Yeah.
Rain showers is set, and Gabe says it's gonna start drying out around 6.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of nice.
I'm more interested in tomorrow.
So then tomorrow, mostly sunny. Look at there, man.
Up to 51. Good.
Yeah.
Nice. So it's hopefully it's going to get nicer throughout the weekend too.
Yeah. Who knows what it's going to be like?
Lots of sunshine.
Yeah.
And how can you not believe that face right there? Blasting confidence.
Yeah. Which, by the way, this picture is provided to us by Ashley O'Toole, and always appreciate what he does. So,
I've used that picture before. And
I reached out to him and I said, hey, do we need to give you a photo credit? He said, well, theoretically, no, because he had released it on Wikipedia. It's part of the Wikipedia thing, and so then once you upload it to Wikipedia, it's like you
lose rights
forgo
too.
all rights. Yeah, but
Dana says there's an inch of snow in Enterprise. Well, I'm glad I don't live in Enterprise.
That's right. There's a reason for that. They're 1,000 feet higher than we are.
Well, man, just 8 miles down the road, they get 25-30% more snow than we get here.
Well,
Somerville, Hunter Road, Somerville.
Right, and that's where Gabe is. Gabe lives out in Somerville. Our weather.
My aunt and uncle live out there, and they're getting older, so we're constantly having that conversation. Like, what are we going to do to make transportation easier for them? Because they don't want to drive. And it's when you live out there. I mean, sometimes you got to make decisions based on whether or not you want to drive in the snow every day during the winter.
We should have Gabe kind of do an analysis as to why the snow, like a micro thing, why he gets more snow out there than anywhere else.
I have no idea. I've never even heard anybody talk about it.
I know, but it's a thing for sure. I mean, there's always, and maybe it's because it lays up there against the mountain, and
could be, or maybe it's a little higher. I don't know.
Yeah,
can't be that much higher.
Yeah,
it's a pretty flat drive from here to Somerville.
Yeah, that's true.
No idea.
I don't know what the scoop is, but it's notorious. Everybody knows you get more snow out in Somerville. So, well, hey, let's bring in our news director. How you doing, Alex?
I'm tired. How about you?
We're good. How are things going today for you?
Oh, tiring. I think the news today is that I'd like to go back to bed, please.
I hear that. Well, hey, take us through the news. Tell us what's happening, man.
All right. Well, first off, the governor announced changes to the county risk map. So first off, Baker County is moving back to lower risk. They had been there. They were moved up to moderate risk, and now they're back. So good job, Baker County. Union County is going to stay in moderate. Grant County had to move from lower risk to moderate risk. Umatilla is going to stay in high risk, and Wallowa is going to stay in low risk. So that's all going to take effect this Friday.
Wow. And so Umatilla is they're still struggling a little bit then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got to think about that the other day. Umatilla, though, we have in Union County, we have LeGrand, which is the bigger city, and then we have a bunch of others. But in Umatilla, they have Pendleton and Hermiston is in the same county, right? So there's more population base there. So
yeah, lots of people in Umatilla County.
Yep. All righty.
All right. Next up, earlier this week, the Baker City Council passed a resolution about the way that they would like to be dealing with COVID. They basically say in this resolution they're very unhappy with the way the state government has been handling the pandemic. So first off, they're going to try and support legislation to help businesses recover and get some reparations for all the income they've lost. They also want to support ballot measures that change the state constitution to limit the governor's emergency declaration powers. The resolution can be read on Mayor Carrie McQuiston's Facebook page. That's what they're doing over in Baker City. They're not too happy with the way it's been handled, and they're hoping it can change soon, and they're going to do what they can with the city's resources.
Well, and I think that's a pretty common thing among we feel that way too. It's like, and we'll talk to Paul here in a minute, but hey, let us manage our own stuff here. So, all right.
All right. Last one. Northeast Oregon Economic Development District is announcing a workshop about how to become a destination business. And they describe the difference between a destination business versus a location business. For me, I live across the street from the marketplace, so I go there for a lot of my shopping because it's there. But I choose to go to Safeway as a destination business because they have certain things that I can't get at the marketplace. So this workshop is going to be about setting up your business to be one that people choose to come to specifically, a destination. Like the marketplace, for example, has a great bistro, so they want people from the other side of town to come to the marketplace. And that's what they offer people to make it the destination for their shopping, is a full-service restaurant. So what NeoEd says, it's going to be an 8-day course. It's going to be all evening classes taught beginning next week and going through April. It's going to be taught by the executive director, Lisa Dawson. Now, the class is going to be $399, but if you have a business in Baker, Union, or Wallowa counties, you can get $199 of that refunded to you after the class is over, and the deadline to register is March 28th.
All right. That sounds cool.
Yeah. So if you want your business to be a destination business, this is a great way to go.
All righty. Well, hey, thank you, Alex.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the news, and watch for more stuff coming from Alex. Thanks a bunch. All right.
Right into it.
What's up on sports this week?
Oh gosh, let's see. EOU football travels to Montana to play Rocky Mountain. Rocky Mountain Rocky Mountain got the first week of the season. EOU didn't play. Carroll beat Rocky Mountain last week. EOU thrashed Carroll, so it's looking good for EOU to go 2-0. They only have 4 games this year. The reality is they have a good chance at making some postseason. Their defense is really tough. They're the volleyball team has their biggest matchups of the year this Friday and Saturday. They're here at home, no spectators, but it's against Corbin, who's ranked number 13 in the country. The EOU volleyball team is currently sitting at number 8 in the country. They're 11-0. They are fantastic. And high school wise, the football team, I think they're off this week for spring break. In the NCAA, it's the Sweet 16 for March Madness, and we have 3 Pac-12 schools in the final 16. Oregon, USC, and UCLA. And
wow,
Oregon and USC are playing each other. So in the round of 16. So it's busy. It's obviously spring break for the high schoolers, and there's a little bit of sports going on for them, but it's more EOU is just packed full of sports right now because of COVID. Everybody's playing at the same time.
So are they the playoffs? I mean, so it's kind of a shrunk playoff. Does it go anywhere?
For football?
I don't know, for any of the sports.
Well, for EOU, the basketball teams are playing right now, but the basketball NAIA tournament is gone. Like, it's done. It is done 100%. Like, it's already done. So our basketball teams at EOU are just playing to play, basically. The football, they actually have a postseason. They moved everything football wise to the spring.
Okay.
So, and then I heard that in high school sports that they're going to do a top 4 thing. So originally OSAA canceled all of the high school championships in Oregon. Well, there's word coming down the pipeline now that at least for football, I know for sure that they're going to take the top 4 teams in the state in each division, voted on by coaches and media, and they're going to play 1 versus 2 and 3 versus 4 for a championship, and then for 3rd and 4th.
Well, that'd be cool.
Yeah, at least it gives the kids something to play for.
Yeah,
that's absolutely. One of the questions that I always ask them is like, how do you motivate yourself when you're just playing to play? And because everybody is, I mean, that's the reason why you play sports. Most people is they want that championship. They want that feeling of they want to feel like Parker Robinson out there on that mat when he wins the 2nd state championship in a row. Yep. You know what I mean? So it's been a tough year, but I mean, at least things are looking up. We have sports going on, and it's getting better.
Yep. Good. Well, hey, let's bring Paul in. And hey, how you doing, Paul?
Good. How are you this morning?
We're doing good. Paul is our one of our 3 Union County commissioners, and we're glad to have you with us. We're going to try and talk to one of our commissioners every month, and we talked to Matt Scarfo about a month ago. And so, Paul, thanks for coming on today. And
hey, BC.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, let's settle the name debate. Say your last name.
Anderes.
Oh, at Anderes. Okay. So
if you look at it, the way I break it down, A-N-D, and E-R, and then E-S, Anderes. Yes. My grandfather came over from Switzerland, and it's a little bit of a unique spelling. And then my son has got an unusual first name, so he's kind of double cursed with his. His is pronounced Bern, but it's spelled Bern. It's the capital of Switzerland.
Baron Anderes.
Anderes, yes.
Anderes.
I know at school we just called him Mr. Anders.
Or Paul, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, cool. Well, Paul, thanks for being here with us today. For those people that might not be familiar with you, and I don't know what rock they would have been under to have not been, but tell us kind of what you did before you were county commissioner, and I don't know, tell us where you were born. Just, I don't know, give us a little bit of information, background about you.
Okay, born in the middle of the San Joaquin Valley near Fresno, California. Halfway through my high school career, my father was recruited to work for Roseburg Lumber Company in Roseburg. Moved with the family, finished up high school at Roseburg High, and then went to Lynn Benton Community College for 2 years, and then finished my bachelor's degree at Oregon State University. And I'm not sure whether I missed it or not, but Doddsy, Oregon State's in the Sweet 16.
Are they? Did I miss that?
They play Loyola on Saturday, I believe.
Oh, you're right. We have 4 teams.
There we go.
I always overlook those the Nutria for some reason.
Kind of a big deal because it hasn't happened in quite some time.
It is a huge deal. And I thought that. I looked for them. I just overlooked it. Yeah, they're the 12 seed playing Loyola at 2:40 p.m. on Saturday.
So when I graduated from Oregon State, got a job in Adrian, Oregon, Malheur County. Incredible place for a young person to be teaching agriculture. And it was there that I met my wife. She's from the Grand Ronde Valley. And then about 25 years ago, we moved to LeGrand, and I started teaching at LeGrand High School. Taught there for 23 years. And when I retired from that, it just so happened that 2 positions were open on the Board of Commissioners, and I was fortunate enough to be elected. And I absolutely love my job. Maybe not every minute of it. Sometimes it's a little stressful, but I really like what I do, and I like being able to help people if I can.
Awesome.
Well, I'm going to need you to list every board and committee that you're on right now. I'm just kidding. That would take a while.
It would. I'm on a number of different, and we have areas of concentration or liaison to different committees that each of the 3 commissioners are on. Mine, in general, revolve around natural resources. Kind of goes to my background teaching forestry and fire for so many years, and I would hardly say I'm an expert, but that's my area that I concentrate a lot of my efforts.
So, and if you're watching, if you're a viewer and you're watching, and you want to ask Paul a question, now's the time to do it. So yeah, just put that in the comments. And so, Paul, I as I've gotten to know you over the last few years, I appreciate the depth and the width of your understanding and knowledge. And
Thank you.
And then also I think you kind of are unique politically a little bit, because I mean, we're in a largely conservative area, but the environmental aspects of what you have invested yourself in the past have kind of pulled you into being a steward of the environment. And, so anyhow, I find the conversations that I've had with you are really interesting, because I want to be a thinking person. I want to be a learning person that is able to wander outside of my own echo chamber. And I think that you represent a lot of echo chambers. I think that's really interesting.
Thank you. And there is a social studies teacher at LeGrand High School, and he says, if the students don't know my political affiliation, I'm happy. And
Right.
to a large degree, I mean, anymore, you can find people to tell you you're doing a great job, if you want to listen, like you said, to that echo chamber. And I think it gives you a false sense of your effectiveness. And I mean, I've had disagreements with folks since I've been in office, but I hope that I'm able to walk away at least understanding their position a lot better. The county commissioner position here in our county is nonpartisan. I am a registered Republican. That's no secret at all. I've been a lifelong Republican. But it's once you're elected to this position, you represent everyone, not just the people that voted for you. And we've got, give or take, 26,000 individual ways of thinking out there. And part of it is, and this goes back to when I was campaigning, I found it interesting because folks would agree with me on 9 out of 10 things, and it was that 10th issue that they didn't agree with me, and they'd say, well, I'm not going to vote for you. I don't agree with you on that one. I didn't say it, but what I thought was, that's really unfortunate, because if you think that I'm going to think exactly the same way that every single person does, it wouldn't work. There's got to be, excuse me, there's got to be some disagreement, and there's got to be some give and take. So that's kind of how I approach things.
Well, and man, I really appreciate that, Paul. And I've seen you do that, and it's kind of, what we've talked about this on the show before, is that social media has largely, I mean, the way that it propels itself is by putting people who think the way you do in your feed. And so it gives you a false sense of like, well, everybody thinks like I do.
And social media for me is a double-edged sword. I mean, it's a great way to get information out fairly quickly. The downside is sometimes that information is not accurate or completely wrong, which is even worse. So that, again, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I really backed off on social media. I was I don't want to say addicted, but I was really into social media for a while. And then last summer, things kind of got ugly for me. They got really ugly for me. And I thought, you know what? I need to step away from this for my own sanity and my own health. The one thing that I hope people know is the phone number here at the county offices is 541-963-1001. And my email is panderes@union-county.org, and they're both of those are on the website. Pick up the phone, send me an email. What I really would prefer is if you do send me an email, put a phone number in there so I can call you back.
Yeah.
Some of those conversations are not comfortable for me. I will tell you that right now. People are, they're unhappy, and they want to express how they're unhappy with either a decision or an inaction that either I've made or the board of the commissioners has made, and sometimes it's a little heated.
I can imagine.
So, Paul, tell us. You have this vast experience in management of forestry and stuff, and part of that is what you taught, and part of that is what you did as a summer job too, right? I mean,
Correct.
Yeah. And so given that experience, what are some of the things that apply to our county? What are some of the most relevant things that you found yourself involved in, given your experience, that, I don't know, maybe that we need to know about or be aware of that we're not aware of?
So I'm part of the Blue Mountain Intergovernmental Council. and that's a fairly large title for a group of county commissioners, agency folks, and Forest Service leadership that are looking at the Blue Mountain Forest Plan. We've been working on this, give or take, about 2 years now, and trying to make recommendations to the Forest Service on what the Blue Mountain Forest Plan is going to look like as we move forward. And for those that may not be familiar with it, Blue Mountain Forest Plan is the overarching document for the Wallowa, Whitman, Umatilla, and Malheur National Forests. It was 15 years in the writing, and give or take, it was about 25,000 pages long. And it was rolled out again about 2 years ago, and about 9 months after that, it was withdrawn. It was the first time a plan had ever been rolled out and then withdrawn because of the objection process. Through Eastern Oregon Counties Association, which is an association of 14 of the Eastern Oregon counties, we got a seat at the table, and we're having really productive conversations with the Forest Service. And one of the things that I'm really proud of that's coming out of that is the Forest Service realized that the socioeconomic data that they had used on the plan that was withdrawn was really, I don't want to say it was inaccurate, but it was a little bit too generic. And they have supported a socioeconomic study along with Eastern Oregon Counties Association. Forest Service invested very heavily in it, and that's being done through the Rural Engagement and Vitality Center at Eastern Oregon University. And they're really kind of digging down into how the federal policies affect the economies in the counties that are affected by the plan, which Union, Baker, Wallowa, Umatilla, Grant, Harney counties very specifically, and then Walla Walla and Garfield counties in Washington as well. Right now, there's a large number of folks at the table, from representation from the tribes, county government, like I said, Forest Service, fisheries, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, really a pretty diverse and broad-based group of folks trying to figure out solutions to move this plan forward. And I spend a fair amount of my time working on that.
So that people can understand it at a practical level, what didn't they like, and how does this affect our lives? I mean, why are people unhappy with what was rolled out, and what do you think is changing?
There were many objections to the plan. Everything ranging from how grazing was conducted on federal land, the timber harvest levels, proposed wilderness areas, closing of roads, just a variety of things. And then the conservation community was also not very happy with some of the things that were in there as well. So it wasn't as though it was one side or the other. There were, and I don't want to overstate it, but no one was really happy with it to the point where they were objecting. It was and I can't remember the exact number. I want to say it was over 800 objections to individual things in the plan. The Forest Service from the region and national level came out, and they had listening sessions on the objection. And I remember going to those, and they had actually binders with that many objections in it, and they were divided kind of into areas of concern.
Wow. Did you say this plan was 20,000 pages long? 25,000
pages long.
Who did you read the whole thing?
Actually, I don't know anyone that read the whole thing, but former Commissioner McClure is probably the one that came closest to reading all of it. And part of it is that in my frustration with it, and I was in that kind of no man's land from being elected but not being sworn into office when this plan was rolled out, and the number of pages one would have to read were astronomical. To get through it, because it's a 90-day comment period. So what a lot of folks did is got together with their associations and divided and conquered and figured out where they were going to make those comments and objections.
Wow.
You'd have to read 277 pages a day.
And it's not light reading.
Well, it's funny when somewhere along the line when talking with Matt Scarfo, he said that you guys have to do a lot of reading, that especially, you know, since you've not been a commissioner, when you first started, he's like was drinking from a fire hose, taking in all that information.
It really was. And even now, I mean, I know this about myself. I'm a stacker. I have stacks in my office, and there are times where I'll close the door of my office and spend literally hours reading through the documents that I think are important for me to know. I like to be informed. I like to make sure I do my homework. I don't like to be caught unprepared. So I do quite a little reading. And not so much pleasure reading anymore. Although I'm reading what I think it's a really good book, and that's I'm trying to remember the exact title of it. I want to say It Worked for Me, written by former Secretary of State Colin Powell. A really interesting perspective about how he made decisions going through his career, and the chapter I'm in now deals with. Was with the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and how he, again, was in that echo chamber listening to what people thought he wanted to hear, and how it really came back to bite him in the end. And he owns that mistake for not vetting it out more thoroughly.
Huh. Well, so
go ahead, BC.
No, I was going to ask you. So, what is your hobby? I mean, yeah, I know this. I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. So what are the things that are totally outside of what you normally do that you find some enjoyment in?
I really like to hunt, waterfowl in particular. Fortunate enough to develop a relationship with a farmer that's got some great waterfowl ground. I like doing that. I did for a long time coach ski racing. My son is an accomplished ski racer. My daughter ski raced, and we chased races all over the Pacific Northwest. Great memories from that. I have slowed down a little bit recently. I had some health issues and haven't skied this year. But I'm looking forward to potentially getting in a day or two at the very end of the season this year. But my entire family grew up skiing and ski racing, and I just absolutely love skiing. I'm very thankful that we've got Anthony so close, and that it's available as an option.
Good. What were you going to say? What are you going to ask?
Oh, Jimmy said, I'd like to know who had that much time to write a 25,000-page document. That is a long document. But no, I was going to talk a little smack to Dana, because Dana said, great information. Our commissioners are the best. And when Scarfo was on the show, we talked about bootlickers. Dana.
and again, if people aren't disagreeing with you, I mean, I think if we're in a situation where you think everybody's head needs to be nodding the same direction and at the same time, and I don't think that's productive. We need to have disagreements. We need to be, but being civil in our disagreements, to me, is very important.
Well, Paul, that's the problem with society as a whole. I mean, we're really good at disagreeing. We're really bad at being civil about it.
And name calling. I mean, really. I mean, let's go back to junior high and call names. But
right,
but you know what? When you get frustrated and things are not going your way, that's a pretty good route to go. If you're to that point.
No, I know. And there are times I find myself shouting at my phone, looking at Facebook, going like, "How are you 12?" I mean, that literally is what comes out of my mouth, you know.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with keep on scrolling. You don't have to take the bait every single time.
That's exactly right. Well, so we had a story earlier about Baker City kind of wanting to take control and I'm not sure if it's the city or the county, wanting to take control from the state. So, I mean, and that's kind of been a theme. Talk to us about and where we are. Where is Union County? How has this experience been with the control being exerted on us from the west side, and are we making any inroads in having some of that control locally here?
I don't know. Is the short answer. Well, and part of it is, and maybe as a bit of an explanation. I mean, we heard loud and clear the calls for open the county, open the county, open the county. We heard you. We didn't close it. It was not our directives to close the county. Unfortunately, the way Oregon's government is set up, and it's been a long time getting there, is that we have given a majority of the power to the executive branch, and the executive branch controls Oregon Liquor Control Commission, Oregon Lottery, OSHA, all these agencies that either license, or if they don't license, they enforce rules and laws. And it's been really kind of trying for us, trying to explain to folks that, yes, we're with you, but we have limited powers in what we can do. Actually not about a week ago, it was a week ago today, the three commissioners sent a letter to the governor's office requesting local control, explaining that for this particular incident, the state had gotten to us to a particular place, and we would like to be able to have local control with the people that work with us, not necessarily the commissioners making the decision, but actually relying on the professionals that we've got, whether it be from CHD or emergency management or sheriff. I mean, all the different departments. I think while it was not, again, one of those pleasant experiences, when we had the outbreak last spring, we were able to put together an incident management team that was able to really make some pretty good decisions for Union County. Were they perfect? Clearly not. Am I perfect? Clearly not. But I think we did a pretty good job of handling the incident at a local level last year. And I will tell you, in our conversations, and at that point we were having conversations with the governor, she was not that, she was uneasy with giving that control to us. But she kind of said, okay, I'm going to trust you to a point. And then clearly it worked out pretty well. And we'd like that opportunity now. I really struggle with our case counts going over that magical number of 45 in our businesses, restaurants and bars having to close down. I don't know that we can survive another economic hit like that. And I also understand, I mean, weighing things out, that people are concerned about getting this and becoming ill, or their family members becoming ill. You have options. No one is forcing you to go to a restaurant or a bar. If you need to, you can get curbside delivery for groceries. You can get, not every place, but many places you can get curbside delivery on food. And as we look at it, and again, trusting the information that we're getting from our professionals, we have not seen a direct correlation between bars and restaurants and spread of COVID in our community.
And it impacts the restaurants severely. Yeah.
Tremendously.
Yeah.
I was telling Scarfo, I was like, the whole lottery thing too, that was like just kicking you square in the, you know what, like you can't be open to serve your food and your alcohol, which makes you your money, but you can let people in to gamble.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that was really a pivotal moment for a lot of businesses when they said, if it's safe enough to do this, we can probably safely open. And I see, and I'm trying to support the businesses as well as I can with the limited. I mean, it's not like my going out to dinner is going to save a business, but I want them to know how much I appreciate them being open. And part of it is showing some patience with these folks. Is they're out of practice, but I will tell you, in my view, they've done a really good job getting ramped up and back to full speed with the parameters, the mitigations that are in place.
Yeah, just surviving through this is a great job in my eyes.
Yeah.
And just the fact that they're still here, we're fortunate.
Exactly. Yep. I mean, and there's been some that have opened businesses during this. My hat's off to them. I mean, gutsy move, and very much appreciated to take that risk. Brent, you talked about my summer activities. I ran businesses for a number of years. I had a contract fire engine, and I know what it's like to being able to make that payroll and hand that person the check that they earned. And very appreciative for the folks I had working for me back in those days. And granted, I've spent a lot of my time in public service and government employment, and that was the security of that was you rarely had to worry about whether you were going to get a check at the end of the month or not.
Right.
There was times where schools talked about cutting budgets or cutting programs, but I mean, there was really not a lot of worry about whether that check A was going to be there or B, it was going to be valid.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole nother, and I'm glad that you've had feet in both worlds, because just frankly, there's a lot of people who come from the world of getting a check on a regular basis, and it's difficult for them to really understand business from the standpoint of, sole proprietor, entrepreneur, where, if it doesn't happen, and I can tell you, even in our own business, if I'm the last person to get paid, always.
Yep.
All of my employees are going to get paid first. So, and that's just the reality of business. So, well, Paul, one more question here, before we let you go, and that is, and this is a little bit, you'll have to dance around this however you want, but so there's a lot of push, and Baker City is doing that too, where they, clearly they feel that the governor she's taken advantage of the emergency powers that she can do, maybe extended them too long. You probably had contact with the governor. You haven't. Are you seeing that is a thing? Do you guys feel sometimes like, and if you can't answer that, I understand. Maybe you could put it in a hypothetical. In governors in other states, are they sometimes taking advantage of the emergency power acts to literally to extend their political influence past this crisis, do you think?
I will dance around this one.
You have to.
I will tell you, I would not want whether it's Oregon or any other state, I would not want to be a governor right now.
Right. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah.
I mean, the political divide that we've got in this nation, we're about as close to 50-50 as we can be. I know, my feeling is that the governor, in her mind, she is doing the very best for all the people in Oregon. I don't know that I would handle it the same way. I don't know that, I think part of it is we've learned so much as we've gone on through this. If you remember back to the beginning, that ventilators were the big issue, and lack of access to ventilators. And that's really, while they are using them on some of the cases, it's not really as common as it was at the very beginning. And the last thing I want to do is minimize the severity of people getting this disease or this virus. But to me, it seems like when I get a head cold or the flu or allergies even, it affects me one way, and it may affect you a different way, and Doddsy a different way. And I'm not an epidemiologist. I've got very little medical background, but it seems that everybody's reacting to this virus a little bit differently. And I think it's easy to go, oh, I had it and it was nothing. Well, for some people, it's incredibly serious. So, again, cut some folks some slack, and let people make the choices that they're comfortable with. If you don't want to go out and you don't want to go to that restaurant, please. No one's forcing you. No one's saying you have to. Hopefully there's no peer pressure to do that. And that's kind of how I would answer that.
Right. But the rest of that statement is, but don't lobby to keep businesses closed. I think that's kind of right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And again, it's not as though, the letter that we sent to the governor, and I will tell you, we have not heard back from her in any way, shape, or form. It's not like we're going to go, Union County is wide open. Let's go take off the masks, take down the barriers between booths. Let's go. We're 100% back to quote unquote normal. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about being able to handle the incident at a local level, being able to decide whether an outbreak in one of the communities, one of the smaller communities in the county, really needs to affect what's going on in restaurants in La Grande, and this is a case that happened in another county. University of Oregon was having really high case counts, and their case counts were affecting how businesses were open or closed on the coast. I mean, hours away. And it was really frustrating for them. And I think they've found some ways to mitigate that. So not one size fits all. And again, what we would like to do is count on those professionals, incredibly good professionals that we've got working for Union County.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, thank you.
You bet.
So much for what you're doing. And we could talk a long time, I can tell.
Good.
And so,
right.
yeah, but we will we'll have you again, Paul. And I appreciate your expertise and your insight, and always enjoy the conversation that we have with you.
Thank you. And if I could, on a very personal note, put in a plug for Grand Ronde Hospital. Those folks from the Elgin Clinic to the nutrition department to the PT, we are incredibly fortunate to have such great folks taking care of us. The cardiology department at the hospital, stellar. And I am very, very appreciative of everything that they do and what they've done for me in particular.
Yeah.
Hey, they're one of our sponsors, so that at least it wasn't a shameless plug.
Yeah. No, and they've been a long time sponsor for it, and we believe in them also.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to take them for granted, So, all righty. Well, thank you, Paul, so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Paul.
the opportunity. Take care.
All right.
Yeah,
all right, man.
Yeah. All right, let's roll it. First off, I just want to tell you guys about something that we're doing through the sports show with Buffalo Peak real fast. For the Masters in the next week and a half, you need to pick two golfers. It's a contest. And either email Dana at golfshop@buffalopeakgolf.com or me at Kyle@EOAlive.tv. BC, if you want to put that up real fast for me, that would be great.
Yep.
And just pick two golfers. It's a free contest. You can win a prize. Dana's going to set it up to where it's like a best ball, and it's going to be cool. The sports show, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5:30 p.m. right here on EOA Live TV, Facebook, on our website, and on our YouTube channel. News Roundup, Fridays, 6 o'clock. Weather, Fridays, 6 o'clock. Actually, News Roundup we're doing at 5:30 now, so pay attention. We have a lot of stuff going on. We have the CHD at 1:30 on Tuesdays, and then it's COVID update every other week, and then Matt's program every other week.
And those are live. Yeah.
We had Keeping It Clear with Cody Bowen that premiered this last Tuesday. It's going to be a monthly show. We haven't got the day nailed down yet. We are going to change days for that, but there's a lot of cool things going on here. So like, share, follow. As for my little list of on this day, in 1863, on this day, the first U.S. Army Medal of Honor was awarded to 6 Army soldiers by U.S. Secretary of War Edwin Stanton in Washington, D.C. On this day in 1960, the first guided missile was launched from a nuclear power sub.
Wow.
On this day in 1996, those new $100 bills we have?
Yeah.
Those came out. On this day in 2002, The Bachelor, the reality show The Bachelor, was debuted on ABC. So that thing's been out for 19 years. And yes, Dana, the app is fantastic. Go to the Google Play Store and download our app. You get notifications. You can find everything there. We have everything on podcast now. The app is a great thing. Alex has been working hard on that. The number one song in 1991, it was still One More Try by Timmy T, and I have no idea who that is. Quote for the day before we leave. And I couldn't find a name for this quote, but I think it's super powerful. The most powerful weapon against your daily struggles is finding the courage to be grateful anyway. So one more time. The most powerful weapon against your daily struggles is finding the courage to be grateful anyway.
Boy, that's good.
That's all we got, man.
Yep.
It's Thursday. We won't be back until Tuesday next week. Enjoy your weekend, Eastern Oregon. We appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, check out all of our stuff's available on Spotify and the other networks. And I can't keep up with everything that we release.
Neither can I.
And but it's very cool because I can be driving or doing something else and listening to your sports show, for instance, or something like that. And so it's just a
whole nother platform where we can reach people, and it's cool.
Yeah,
Mike Bowen, thank you. We appreciate you.
Yep. All righty. Well, thanks so much. We'll see you next Tuesday.